You know what really killed me? We were watching Home Alone with Harley, and when she's in the moving truck with John Candy and the polka band.
Oh, God.
And he starts talking about how he left his
The
kid at a
the
funeral home. I don't know why. For some reason, I never remembered that line until seeing it this year.
I've never
And then he said,
remembered
he was all right after a few months. He says what he says.
John
He was
Candy.
fine. He was fine after a few months. You know.
God.
Oh, we left the poor guy there.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that part. And he said that. And I remember thinking, ew, the kid was left at a funeral home with all the dead people. I remember thinking that.
It was fine. It was fine. He
Yeah.
was good after a few months. Oh, so funny.
Great.
That is funny.
Well,
Oh.
mine doesn't make any noise. It's pre-poured, but you can kind of tell what it is.
Oh.
Bailey's?
Wow.
Light.
It's Bailey's on ice.
Bailey's on ice.
That's very,
Wow,
very...
you're into the hard stuff. It's like noon.
5 o'clock somewhere.
my God.
It is, in fact, because this is a podcast, 5 o'clock
We're
could be
recording
everywhere.
in the middle of the day.
Who knows?
It's quite at the time of this recording. It's 12:11, and you know what? It's 1:11 Atlantic, so it's well beyond the hour.
Sure.
Foreman's still working on Atlantic time.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
That's right.
Fine,
That's right.
fine.
All right. This is Due to Underwhelming Demand, the podcast with Dave, Rachel, and Forman, the podcast that is literally the equivalent of getting a lump of coal in your stocking.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I know. It is too bad.
I didn't know that.
Well, shouldn't have been naughty.
That's right. Should have
You
behaved
deserved
yourself. Should
Yep.
have behaved yourself.
You earned that one.
Yep. I have a question
Actually,
for
my
you.
6-year-old asked me recently. She's like, "Mom, do you know anyone who's actually gotten coal for Christmas?" And I was like,
do. Yeah,
"No,
and
I don't actually." So
I
I'm
do.
like, "You're a good kid, though. You're not gonna get coal." She's like, "Yeah." So
No,
she's
I'd
heard
hang
it
that.
somewhere, and she got
Yeah.
worried about it.
I'd hang that threat. What's wrong with you? Hang
Well,
the threat. You
yeah,
know,
I could.
The elf on the shelf. I mean, isn't that the whole deal?
Yeah,
if
the
you're not
elf-
doing
yeah.
your thing, the elf's gonna jam coal down your yin yang. You know, whatever.
Just in your
That's it.
stocking, David.
Whatever. Okay, stocking. Sure.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Whatever.
Anyway,
Are we done
she
now?
was very worried. I just want, those are my thoughts about coal. Go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
Thank you for those. I just am curious, and this is I don't want to oversimplify this, but what do you do?
Please dumb it down even more than you think
dumb
you
it
should.
down than normally.
Always.
Than I normally
Yeah.
would. What do you do when you're listening to music? And I don't mean when you're alone. Because whatever you do when you're alone, I don't care. I don't.
What kind of music?
Yes. You could be listening to whatever
Yeah, it
you
depends.
want, and you could be doing anything you want.
I do a lot of different things when I listen to music.
I don't care.
It could be
Please,
depending
I'm
on
not
the day.
I'm not asking you. That's not
You
the
just
thing.
asked me.
No, I didn't.
You just asked the
I
question.
said not when you're alone. I said I don't mean when you're alone.
Well,
Unless you're-
I'm with you right now.
yeah. Unless you're doing something, really interesting, I don't care. And I'm pretty sure,
You
Rachel,
just asked me, what are you
don't
doing?
do anything really interesting when you're listening
When
to
I'm
music.
alone listening. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
Sorry, we didn't get the caveat of only answer if it's interesting.
That's right. Hey. What do
Okay,
you do
this
when
is
you're
too
listening?
simple for
Yeah.
us.
Yes.
What are
is
you
too
doing?
simple.
What do you do when you're listening to music in public?
I'm
Foreman
doing this
taps.
alone and in public. I
know.
am tapping and
Tap.
drumming incessantly
You
and
tap.
then incessantly getting yelled at to stop tapping.
Yeah,
You do tap.
the three of us, if you're new to this, used to work at a radio
New.
station together. So we would listen to music together all morning long. Foreman always tapped, always, like drumming on something, always.
Like
Which
I will
was
you can intentionally tap a ring on a glass to make it louder.
Yeah,
That's
you can.
yeah.
Sure you
I
can.
see why you get yelled at. Dave will sometimes bang his fist on the table. That's what he does.
Yeah, maybe a
And
little bit.
then I will sing. Always.
It's
sing.
so
tap
that you
my
could
foot.
hear it barreling ringing all through on the air. The whole desk would ring.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would shake the microphone.
Yeah, I
That's
would.
right.
But I tap my. I did tap my feet, but nobody looks at your feet when you're.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I
I also
always
did that at the same time as my hands.
Yeah.
think I have a little,
Foreman
you
is a
know,
drummer. If you didn't know, so that it makes sense that you would do
It makes
that.
sense. And you're a
Yeah,
singer,
they are.
so-
They are in a box in the garage still. Yep.
Oh, you haven't set them up in your basement there?
Not
Down
yet.
there in the dark where you're on your dark face that we've still don't have a light on your face.
Nope.
Okay.
Never will because you keep asking.
Are you doing this out of spite now?
Yes. That's very entertaining.
Well, it's also on YouTube.
Yeah, okay. You did a lot of singing growing up, Rachel, so I'm not surprised that you sing along with
We
stuff.
sing, like my whole family, the 4 of us will be in the car listening to music. It's a whole sing-along, all of us. We all sing. Jeremy sometimes, but not all the time. The girls are always singing. I'm singing. Everybody needs to know the lyrics. We like listen to the same stuff a lot, or the same radio stations a lot, so we hear the same stuff.
I like to make up lyrics and stuff. That's it's more fun, and it's more fun, because you don't have to be perfect. We'll have maybe a dance party. We call it a dance party where we play random songs. We will sing. Somebody might get up and dance. So we do that. But that's the 3 of us. We do those maybe 3-4 times a year. It generally has a lot to do with maybe a second bottle of wine or whatever when one of those happens.
Yeah.
But when you're not with your family, when you're with others. Now, we were a work family, so yes, Forman drummed and I banged and you sang. But if you were somewhere outside of your house by yourself, but there are other people around, are you singing out loud?
No.
No.
Yeah. There's I've had some I think we've talked about this. A little bit of work done in the house over the last
Must be nice.
several months.
Yeah.
Well, because
he lives north of
the end
Fanshawe.
result looks really good, and we're pleased.
Good.
Look,
Good.
This
That was a
place-
long time. Lots of construction.
This house needed a little love. It just did.
Yeah.
And
It's got to fit in with the neighborhood.
Well, I don't know about that. So anyway, we've had a cast of characters coming through the house and doing several different things, from knocking down walls to building them back up and other things. And we have one individual. Now, I'm not going to mention this guy's name. He's become a friend. I feel like we're friends. I saw him a lot on a regular basis when a lot of the heavy construction was going on, the walls coming down or whatever. He was the first guy that came in. He was my contact. He was the guy that was in charge of kind of our operation. He's like the foreman.
Okay.
Put it
He's
that way.
an actual foreman,
Well, yes. An
not
actual
some guy with a
foreman
dumb nickname.
instead of a fake foreman.
Okay.
That's right.
Good.
So he was here a lot, and there was a stage where there were 2 or 3 guys, and one guy brought a radio, and they listened to the radio a lot. And we, from someone who, did my entire career was working on the radio. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate that you listen to the radio still.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy when I still see people listening to the radio. So they would bring in the radio.
Me too.
Yes, of course. For
Yeah,
minutes
yeah.
you do.
Especially weekday morning, 6 to 10.
Right. Yeah.
In Halifax.
If you're in Halifax.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, they would bring the radio, and they would have it tuned to the classic rock station here in this area, in southwestern Ontario, London in particular.
Okay.
And they would have the classic rock going. And so the foreman guy, I noticed that he hummed a lot. Like he would just, when he was by himself, he would be, He would always have sort of a, and then when
He's
the music...
working, enjoying the music. Yeah.
Well,
sure.
no, that was when there was no music.
Oh.
Then when there was music, he would
Okay.
be quiet for a while, but then he couldn't help himself.
Okay.
He would,
Here we go.
He would start singing "You Shook Me All Night
Nice. Love it.
Long." He would start singing "American Woman."
Sure.
He would start singing.
I
Taking
find
Care
that
of
charming,
Business.
actually. I find that quite endearing.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I actually kind of got used to it a little bit. I liked that he did that.
Yeah.
There was something that made me happy about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Well-
nobody else was doing it.
I
Now,
think because when you hear someone else singing, just singing to themselves, you think, oh, what a happy person. they're just having a good time all by themselves. What a nice thing, you know?
Again, I want to stress, he was never ever really alone, or I wouldn't have heard him.
Yeah.
And there were
Sure.
other people working with him. Now, there was a point where there was another guy who came because he specialized in whatever, and he had it switched to the country station.
Oh, boy.
And,
now there's a turf
which one?
war.
And the one that we spent some time at.
Okay.
And what
All
I
right.
found was, and my friend, that guy, I think was on vacation at that particular point, and there was a guy, and he was listening, and he was sort of humming along, but not. He was the guy that had switched it to country, but my classic rock guy wasn't there. He was on vacation. When he came back, we were back on classic rock. Led Zeppelin, whatever, all of that stuff. So, to make a long story short, yesterday afternoon, the Forman guy, there's still a few things that are left to be done, and of course he's responsible for making sure that the project is done. So he showed up yesterday afternoon, and we were like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" It's good. I'm only here. I'm fixing repairing a couple of marks where so the painters can come back and touch up and stuff. I said, yeah. So Jana and I were cooking. We were getting ready to make tonight's meal, which is I can't wait. Is tortilla soup. So we're making so I'm cutting up some onions and jalapenos, and Jana was doing something, and I thought, you know what we need in the kitchen right now is maybe a little Christmas playlist.
Sure. Yeah.
So I put on a little Christmas playlist.
Yeah.
And I want to shout out to the new Amazon commercial with the dancing llamas to Dundas to Santa Claus, because it's the greatest commercial ever. If you haven't seen it,
I haven't seen it.
I urge you to go on YouTube and look up the dancing Amazon llamas. It's the best.
Okay.
It's
Speaking of commercials that we should be talking about, how
Yeah.
about mine? You can
No,
talk about a few of mine.
we don't, but yours aren't funny.
Are you the voice of the dancing llamas?
Yeah.
No,
Are you
I'm
one
not.
of the llamas?
No.
Forget it. Anyway,
No.
Sorry, tell us about what happens in the Raid commercial again.
Yeah, exactly. That's a fun commercial.
Crad traps all your bugs. It's
Yeah,
the light
sure.
trap.
Anyway, so he's working away, and the Christmas music is going, and we've got several trees in the house, and I think to myself, oh God, he's gonna hate this music. I just know he is. Now I'm pretty sure he has kids, but it's not classic rock. I mean, it's Christmas
Okay.
music.
Yeah, but
It's
all kinds of people like Christmas
whatever's
music.
whatever's on the playlist.
Sure.
So I believe he couldn't help himself when Feliz Navidad.
Oh, awesome.
Could not.
I hope the whole house broke out in Feliz
No,
Navidad.
But I'm
I could just
there.
see all three of you. You,
I'm-
Jana, him,
No,
Feliz Navidad, and
No,
you're
we
dancing
didn't.
around the
No,
kitchen.
No. I'm cutting up vegetables, and I think to myself, I'm feeling sort of bad that I've got this music. I didn't know he was coming. I didn't know he was going to show up. I feel
Well,
sort of
then
bad that
whatever.
the music's on.
Yeah,
And
it's your
then
house.
He breaks into Feliz Navidad. I was so thrilled.
Awesome.
I am so. It was
Yeah.
delightful, and it's made my Christmas. I don't know
Aw,
why.
that's so nice.
I don't know
He
why.
sounds like such a lovely man, like just a jolly old soul.
Well,
you
he's
know?
not old, and I wouldn't. The first
A
word
jolly young
to
soul.
describe him wouldn't be jolly. Not because he's not friendly,
Okay.
but he does like to sing, and
I like that.
Well,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the gift that keeps on giving the
Yeah.
whole year round.
I love to sing. I don't sing when I'm in public, but if I did, and if I saw someone, I'd love it. It's great.
You should get him something
Yeah.
real nice.
real. Nice. You about ready to do some kissing? I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
This is due to Underwhelming Demand, a podcast that doesn't see you when you're sleeping, doesn't know when you're awake.
No.
and
We don't
doesn't-
care.
And doesn't really care if you've been bad or good, so you're welcome. Okay?
And all are welcome here.
That's right. That's right.
Good,
Well, that-
bad, ugly. Good, bad, and
Okay.
ugly. We don't
Do
care.
not care.
No,
Nope.
that should be especially welcome news for my 10-year-old daughter Harley.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That's how you segue, Rachel. Come on.
Oh.
Sorry.
That
I
was
was just going
really-
to say that was a way better
really
segue
wa-
than my good.
Yeah.
You know
Really-
what? I'm just going to purposely do bad segues
Yeah,
from now on.
That would be
Yeah.
Well, why?
Speaking of
What do you
Jack
mean you're gonna
Skellington.
start- You're going to start doing that?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Forman. Go.
So anyway, since we were talking about Donald Trump, my daughter Harley.
Yeah.
No, she, boy, oh boy, she is 10, but she might as well be Charlotte's age, Dave.
Uh-oh.
And Rachel, you, correct me if I'm wrong, but once upon a time, you were a 10-year-old girl?
I was. Yeah, I was.
Okay, just checking.
Mm-hmm.
My wife, Ashley, was certainly a handful as a teenager, as I've learned over the years.
I've heard that about
Yes.
Ashley,
At
yeah.
least there is a period of communication that could only happen between her and her mother if they went through her father first.
Oh, my. I can't remember if it was you that told me about Ashley or she might have.
Maybe
as a
Marlene
teenager.
did. And if Marlene
No.
or Barry are listening, I probably stirred up some shit, and I'm sorry.
We have that issue here where there needs to be a mediator, and
Really?
it's not fun, Forman. So
Yeah, no,
FYI,
you've
it's
definitely
not fun.
more than alluded to the fact that there could be some heated moments, particularly between mom and daughter.
Mom and daughter, always.
Yeah, well, now in my house,
Oh,
why is that directed at dad instead of mom?
Oh.
Oh, you need to nip that in the bud.
I know. Mom's the one getting the full rundown of what happened at school and things with their friends, and they did this and they had this joke, and anything and every detail you would want from your kid when you ask how was school today.
Right.
Ashley gets it all. I mean, we gotta take Harley to swimming. Lives an hour away 3 times a week. So when they're in the car together, they have the jolliest, holliest conversations you could ever possibly wish for from your kid.
Aw, that's nice.
I drive in silence with her.
Really?
Pretty much.
I think that would happen at our house, though, too. I think it would be the same at our house.
And here, now it gets especially bad because a couple nights ago, there was some disagreement about, I don't know, something having to do with homework or school, whatever. Anyway, she wasn't mad at either, or she was mad at both of us. And normally we still go put her to bed and give her a quick hug at least and say, okay, good night, love you. Easy to just say love you back. She didn't. And I said, I love you 3 times, and she didn't say it. She was dead silent. And then the next day, coming off the school bus, she seemed to be in a holly jolly mood. And was actually starting to be happy about telling me what happened at school. And she got her school pictures and she wanted to show me. But her sister, Emily, who's only 6, happened to slightly walk in front of her path. So she shoves Emily out of the way with her books. So I stop them and say, hey, what do you do? Like, don't do that to your sister. You're so like, and she can be pretty rough with her sister. And then the death stare she gave me. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to let that settle for a few minutes. And we're still walking home. And then I pipe up. So anyway, how was your day today? Was it good? Was it okay? And she just stares at me and says, sure, I don't care. And gives me the most obvious, blatant, the most dramatic eye roll and head roll you could ever possibly give somebody.
Eye
boy.
rolls are never
It's
good.
big-
And wanted me to see it. Wasn't
Yep.
eye roll behind my back. It was
Nope.
on purpose. You're going to watch this whole display,
Like, I
Dad.
hate you right now, Dad.
Yeah.
And here's how I'm going to let you know.
Ooh, ouch.
Thus, the Baileys.
Oh, God.
Okay. Well.
Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense now.
No, that makes a little
It'll
bit of
knock you
sense.
right out for your nap later today.
Well, Forman, I can sympathize to a certain extent. I didn't get a lot of that directed at me. Sometimes, occasionally. Now, I find, in my particular case, that if I raise my voice to my child, that has an impact. It's a negative impact. But
Right.
it does have. It
Yeah,
has an impact.
I'm making that connection as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems to happen.
Yeah.
That
If I-
happens with the dad at our home, too.
Yeah.
The
if
dad.
You raise
maybe,
your
so
voice,
maybe that's a dad thing.
Now, tears tend to follow me raising my. Even as a teenager, if I raise my voice.
Yeah. You
If it
probably
gets
don't
a
raise your
little,
voice that often then.
No, I don't.
Right.
Because I realize the power that it has, and I feel like it's not.
But then Riddle.
I don't. I
You
could
don't
do
need
it
to
all the
wield that all the
Yeah,
time.
I don't
Right.
like wielding that
No.
power.
Okay, well then riddle me this, because when mom raises her voice,
Yeah.
that can also induce tears. but then she also quickly comes right around like nothing ever happened and everything's fine and they're the two best friends that anyone can have.
You know what? It's
that
different.
doesn't happen to Dad.
It's different with mums and daughters
different.
because it's I don't know why. It's you can fight and scream at each other and then 10 minutes later you're fine. And that's just I don't know why. Now, I will say that I think Jeremy probably yells at them more than I do, our kids, who are the same age as Forman's kids, 10 and 6. My 10-year-old doesn't have so much of an attitude yet, although she tends to be very emotional about a lot of things that didn't bother her before. So that started.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of maybe she does get angry, but that usually is quickly followed by bursting into tears because she's so angry. So maybe Harley is angry, but not like crying angry. So hers just comes out as like anger, right? I think Julia's comes out as like crying, which is a little easier to deal with because you're like, oh, okay, you're upset, but you don't realize that when they're screaming at you, right? I don't know, but my 6-year-old's the one with the attitude. My 6-year-old has, and that's she's the one with the attitude, and she's the one that's difficult.
Well, wait till she's 10.
I know.
You know what?
It's not going to be fun.
You've really brightened my mood right now, Rachel.
Yeah.
My God. I just have to picture, I
You're
picture my 10-year-old now and picture your 6-year-old when she is 10, and I
Yeah.
think I'm doing pretty good.
I think you're screwed,
Oh,
Rachel.
she's a nightmare.
You're
She's
screwed.
a nightmare.
You are. If you have.
Oh, yeah. At least you got an
have a
extra 4 years, Forman.
If you have a 6-year-old with an attitude,
Oh, yeah.
you're
Not all the time, but she's very stubborn when she does have an attitude. And
you're going to end
you
up on an
cannot-
episode of. You are going to be on Dr. Phil.
Oh, I know.
I feel like you're going to be on Dr. Phil.
I just, yeah.
You're either sitting next to him or Andy Cohen, so.
This is due to Underwhelming Demand with Dave, Rachel, and Forman, the podcast not meant for rockin', but is perfect if you'd like to vomit around the Christmas tree. Just in
Okay. Maybe if you're Forman drinking Baileys today.
Vomit
At noon.
What the?
A couple of shout-outs. Wait a second. A couple of shout-outs to whoever thought that vomit is the word that describes vomit, because what a perfect word. Vomit
It
is a...
sounds like what it is.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Vomit is a word that's perfect for what it is.
I've never
Who
thought
created-
about that before, but I think you're right.
And we get in trouble on the radio for swearing. We could never swear at all.
No.
You could say vomit 100 times and really annoy people.
Yeah.
But you would never get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to say
Thank
vomit, lice, moist. Any of those
Vomit.
things would really
Vomit.
affect people.
Vomit works.
Yeah.
Diarrhea also
yeah.
high on the list.
Diarrhea.
Vomit, diarrhea. The other
Okay.
shout out, by the way, the other shout out.
Please don't turn this off yet. It's my turn.
Yeah. The other shout out is to 78-year-old, I believe, Brenda Lee, who just recently went to #1 after 65 years
With rocking around the Christmas
with
tree?
rocking around the Christmas
Wow.
tree. Shout out to Brenda.
#1 on the Billboard charts?
Yes, the
Hot 100.
Hot 100.
No
number
way.
1. Yes.
Because everyone's playing Christmas music.
Yes.
Yeah, I just
Yes.
can't believe it's never been #1.
Never been #1. It was recorded
That's, yeah.
in 1958 before she became the big star.
This
that
is
she
the Hot
became.
100, not like the special Christmas list
No,
that they've
Hot
done.
The
100.
general Hot 100.
And
Wow.
do you know that there have
Interesting.
only ever been 3 actual #1 Christmas songs? The first
Okay.
actually happened way back when it was recorded was the Chipmunk song from the late 50s.
Interesting.
Vomit.
It literally went to '1 at Christmas.
That's
Vomit. There
fun,
you go.
Foreman. It's a fun song.
The second is
Stand by my comment.
Mariah Vomit Carey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Vomit
last
again.
I
year
have
or
to
2
tell
years
you, and
ago.
I hate saying this, that I'm getting sick of that song.
Oh.
Had to happen. Had to happen.
Yeah.
But God bless Brenda Lee and God bless Home Alone for
Yeah.
featuring Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree 30 years ago, whenever that was, because it's more popular than ever. And she just recorded did a music video for it after
Really?
65 years.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, go look it up.
Okay.
I think Trisha Yearwood is in it.
Is it?
And-
Have you watched
Cool.
it? Does she
Yes.
look as good as Dolly Parton does?
Not quite. No.
Is she
Foreman,
wearing a
not-
Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders outfit?
They're the same age. They're
I
the
know.
same
Good.
age. They're the same age.
Way
but
way
no.
to go, Dolly Parton, right?
Yes.
Like, good for
Shout
her.
Out to, shout out
She's
to
just
Dolly.
a national treasure. And I can't believe people were hating on her
I
for
don't
wearing
know
the
why
Dallas
anybody
Cowboy. I'm
would-
like,
I don't know
if
why
I'm
anybody
Dolly
hate on
Parton
her.
and I'm 75 and I can wear that, I'm wearing that every day of my life.
Yeah.
Look.
To the
if-
grocery store.
If you
Look at me.
if you diss Dolly Parton, you're going straight to hell.
That's true.
Yep.
Forget about it.
That's a fact.
Going
yeah.
straight. You're there.
Yeah, exactly.
Start, you might as well be naked because it's going to be stinking hot
That's
where you're going.
You'll have to wear that Dallas Cowboys
Right.
uniform.
Anyway.
Okay, well,
I'm sure-
speaking of wearing sunglasses, I wondered if anyone else, when you watch a movie,
Fucking nailed it.
yeah, I know. Now I'm going to do it
That
on
was really
purpose.
well done.
I
yeah.
have to. I have.
Although
to
I
think
would
of
have
new
said,
ones.
speaking of diarrhea, because it would have been
Well, we were
perfect.
talking about. Okay. Well, if
anyway.
you watch a movie, are you able to get through the movie or even just after the movie without Googling all the characters? Because I'm not. If I'm watching a movie or a TV show, and especially reality shows, I am Googling the cast.
Get
Almost
off your
every time.
phone and
No.
just
Did
Did you
watch
ever
the
put your phone
episode.
down?
Yes,
Put
I
your
do.
phone down.
I do put it down.
No, you don't.
I watched a whole Hallmark movie last night, and I didn't have pick my
Oh,
phone up.
that's the kind of movie you paid attention to.
Yes.
Good grief. You're
This
proving
one
our
wasn't-
point.
This one wasn't as bad as some of the other ones. It was
Oh,
called
please.
it was
Yeah.
called My Norwegian Christmas. I recommend
Good
it.
God.
It's not as badly written as many of the others because I
That's
watched
like
another
saying-
one recently.
That's like saying this rash isn't as bad as the one I had last week.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
not a
Last time I got
rash.
pink eye in both eyes. So.
Yeah.
I,
Come on.
anyway, My Norwegian Christmas. That's why I paid attention. I actually didn't Google that cast though. But
Yeah,
I
because
might.
they've
Because
never been in
no
anything
one-
else.
No one knows them.
But I did stop when the credits were on. I'm like, what are their names? And then I looked at their names, which I can't recall.
By the way, speaking of literally this same topic,
Mm-hmm.
just shout out, and I'm going to say December 15th, it debuts on W, so it'll be on demand.
Mm-hmm.
The Secret Gift of Christmas is the movie that was filmed at my dad's old home in Halifax.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Okay, well, that's good. All right.
Your
there you
dad's
go.
from Halifax?
He was there as a teenager. It's a bit of a... They're not from Halifax,
I
but
didn't know that.
they lived there as kids. My uncle, his older brother, went to university there because their father, my grandfather, was stationed there for the Air Force. So it was an Air Force home.
Okay.
That's now this beautiful old-timey mansion that's not owned by the Air Force anymore. And so they film
Oh.
movies there.
And
Cool.
so this movie
That's
was
awesome.
filmed there. And what's it
Yeah.
called again? My
Open
Old Timey
phone
Christmas.
again. My old-timey Christmas. The Secret Gift of Christmas.
Okay. They're all called the same thing.
The Christmas we all had diarrhea.
Okay.
Let's do that one.
Anyway, do you
Where
get
would they
through a
show
movie?
that one, do you think? I wonder.
Nobody shows that one. That's not on Hallmark.
TLC.
Yeah, that's on TLC. You're right. You
Diarrhea-
nailed that.
Diarrhea
Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, when you watch Diarrhea Christmas, do you Google all the actors? Because I do, and I
that
will
one,
often
yes.
I will often see actors, and I know their faces. Like I can place a face. I don't always know the names, and I'll be like, why do I know that? They're from something else. What are they from? And I have to Google it to know, or I'll just be thinking about it the whole time, right? And Jeremy's like, I don't know. I don't know who they're from. I don't know who that is. And I'm like, nope, I know that's somebody. I gotta find out who. So I'm Googling who it is. Or if it's like a reality show cast, I'm like, who is this person? Who are they related
reality
to?
show?
Or who? Yeah, anything. I
What
I
other
have to
reality show
know.
did they used to be on?
Yeah. What do they do for a living? I don't know. What anything. Who are they married to? Whatever. I just I need to know about them.
I think you really need to dig deep into this. Now,
You
I
guys
will-
don't do that at all?
I
No,
will
you're the new
occasionally-
version of my mom who would
What?
sit there for a whole movie and be like, who's that guy? And the whole time out
Yes.
loud be like, where's he from? And ruin the whole thing for everyone.
Where's he from? Yeah, and where you I asked Jeremy, and Jeremy's like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to Google it now that I can. I got a phone, and I can
I'm
do
watching
that.
the movie. Leave me alone.
Well,
I'm watching the movie.
But I do say to
Watch
Jeremy,
the
sometimes I'll
movie.
say to Jeremy, why are they doing that? What's happening?
Oh, good grief, Mom.
Oh, wow.
Mom.
I mean, Rachel.
And he stops
Like-
and he looks at me. He's like, I am also watching this for the first time.
Yeah. No
Like,
kidding.
I
holy
don't know.
crap, I get it. Jack Ryan is from The Office. Like, it's Jim
Yes.
from The Office. It's Jack Ryan. Leave him alone.
Yeah, but everybody knows that.
Move on!
You're not Googling those people. You're Googling, the more obscure people from,
only thing
say,
I ever do
Hallmark
is that-
movie channels.
The only
movies.
reason I would do it right this time of year, and I believe I picked up my phone the other night because I wondered, how old is Jim Carrey? Like, really?
Yes.
How old is?
Right.
Like,
He's in his
where
50s,
am I
isn't
in
he?
my life? How old is when I look at him and he's doing the Grinch thing? I'm like, how old is Jim
Yeah.
Carrey? And then I go, oh.
How old is he?
I don't know.
I have to
don't-
Google it
think
now.
Like, you see, 60.
Yep.
I don't know. Late
he?
50s. I have no idea. I don't remember.
Jim
I don't remember. It
Carrey.
doesn't sink in.
You're
Age.
doing it to
I
us
have to
right
know.
now.
You're doing it to
61.
us right now.
61.
See?
Really?
Told you.
61 years old.
61 years old. But here's the thing.
That movie's 23 years
I believe
old.
there's a deeper issue at play here. I believe
Oh, come
that
on.
you're so addicted to your phone
No.
that you need a reason to look at your phone.
I don't think. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not looking. There's always a reason to look at my phone.
I don't think
I am
you like
addicted
put
to
it
my
down.
phone. I think everybody is.
First step is denial.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Exactly.
okay, fine. But I can't be the only one who
No,
Googles.
the
you're
reason
not
why
the only
Amazon
one. The cast.
has ruined all movies and shows
Yes.
by every time a
What do you
new
mean?
actor comes into a scene that pops up at the bottom of the screen. Oh, this is this. Here's his name, the actor's
Oh.
name. Here's other stuff he's been in. Stop distracting me from the
Oh.
show.
Yeah.
I didn't know they did. It
No,
pops
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Constant.
If
Oh,
you
I
ever-
noticed that when
yeah.
I'm on like Netflix or something,
Yeah.
I can look at the cast
It's your
underneath all
fault.
the info.
It's for you.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's yeah. I want that.
Why?
I guess I'm not watching Amazon Prime enough because
Well,
they don't do that on
I'm
Netflix.
telling you, if you watch it on your computer, you just have to put your mouse, just hover it over a character, and it tells you who they are.
Oh my
Really?
goodness.
Yes.
Oh, I don't really watch TV
That
on my computer.
service should not be allowed.
No.
That's amazing. I didn't know that
Why?
that was a thing.
Why is that
I love
amazing?
that
Why is
because
that
I want to know.
amazing?
Oh, this person's from here. Okay, now I know, and I can get on with the movie. I need
Why-
to know that. It will eat me up inside if I don't know where this face is from.
What do you do?
I
When you're
have
at a-
to know.
When you're in a movie theater and when you watch the Barbie movie, did somebody pop up that you went, "Who is that?"
If I know, and I won't do it in a movie theater, I'll look it up later. I'll Google it after.
Well, that's very
But you'll
kind
make
of
a
you,
note
thank
to
you.
Be like,
remember.
was that Issa
Thank
Rae?
you.
I think so. Yes.
And you won't pay attention to any part of the movie after that because you made that
Right.
note and you can't let it go.
Right. And that's why I have to look it up. Once they're off the screen and something new comes on, it's like,
know what,
squirrel, oh, there's something new.
I actually,
okay.
I watched Oppenheimer the other day. Oppenheimer. Which
Oh,
was
is it good? I haven't
really-
seen it.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a fascinating movie and very long. And
I've heard
I
that.
literally stopped it, but I will stop it. And I was watching by myself because I went, I think I need to understand this dude. Who is
Yeah.
this dude before
Yeah.
And it's not like I didn't know who he was. I knew what he was involved in, and I knew it was the atomic bomb and all of that stuff. But and I don't want to spoil the movie, but that's what Oppenheimer's about. And but I had to. I didn't really care about the actor or any of the people that were in the movie. I needed to know who he was. Okay, what
Yes.
is he? And then I
will Google that.
So
I would Google
Wikipedia'd
that.
it for a second, and it got into a couple things, and I went, okay, now I'm spoiling the movie. I'm
Yes.
done. I'm gonna
Well,
go
you
back
could
and-
look it up after. If I'm watching, and I love a good period piece. If I'm watching an historical drama of some kind, which I enjoy, I will look up. Well, what did they do during this time period? Like, did they do this thing or whatever they're
Best
doing in the movie?
sigh ever.
It wasn't loud enough.
I know. It didn't
hate you
stop
guys.
her. I know.
We need someone else in this podcast. Another woman like me.
You're not alone. I think.
Oh, I was going to suggest Scotty, but never mind.
Yeah.
No more men.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
more.
All right. Well, I don't think you're alone. I think people do it, but
Yeah, you can
because
send us a message.
Otherwise, they wouldn't do. Netflix wouldn't have given us that option.
I
and
didn't
would-
know that was an option. I'm
and
going to look
neither
into
would
that.
Prime, so it's there for you.
Yes.
Stop, put your phone down. Maybe watch a movie.
Okay.
Get away from
Thank you.
things.
I won't, but fine.
That's what the title of this podcast should have been. I won't, but fine.
I like that.
This is Due to Underwhelming Demand, the podcast with Dave, Rachel, and Forman. You may have noticed there is a lot of room for sponsors in our podcast, like a ton, whoa, a lot of room. Mm-hmm. I mean,
And those pre-recorded things that you may hear come up if you're listening on
They're not
Spotify
ours.
or Apple or
they're-
Google
yeah,
Podcasts,
they don't pay us.
they're not paying us anything.
Yeah, we
No.
don't
They
pay
so
us.
I
rudely
know.
interrupt while you're mid-sentence, too.
Yeah.
They're only doing that because actually, because we know that people actually enjoy and listen to the podcast.
It's true.
That's why those are there.
They
That's
only
why.
put them there during podcasts people listen to.
Yes.
Well, okay, so I was looking up, speaking of podcast ads, I was looking up stats on advertisements. Podcast listeners are highly engaged, and when they start listening to podcasts, they become hooked. So thank you very much.
Yes.
So they actually found that podcast listeners will more often listen to the ads that the podcasters are talking about, and a lot of them go on to purchase and take action. 95% of frequent podcast listeners have taken action after hearing an audio ad. That's almost everybody. 95%.
That's really good.
64% of listeners pay full attention to the podcast ads. So at least you're getting the attention. And then 95% of them will take action and maybe like look up what that is or the brand or whatever.
That's fascinating. But
We found that, like
yeah.
when we've heard back from some of our sponsors, that they've heard from a lot of our listeners. So thank you very much for supporting the people who support us.
If you'd like to sponsor us, Dave, Rachel, and Forman, daverachelforman@gmail.com. That's the email. Or you can reach out on our socials. We're easy to find.
Yeah.
And this is the part of the podcast where we actually like to hear from whoever found us.
We love hearing from you.
Yeah. What do you got, Forman?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, a roundup of a smattering of topics we have talked about. And so, when you don't have live radio, we're playing catch-up all the time.
Right.
But Lisa was commenting on when Rachel went to Toronto and tried to rudely get into some other lady's room.
I remember that. That's a great one. I like
in her
that.
hotel room. Well, Lisa says, I was the person that had someone trying to get into my room.
Oh,
Except
sorry.
it was 2 a.m, and I wasn't going to answer. I'm pretty sure they slept in that hall all night.
Good call. Good
They
call.
thought you locked them out.
Good call. That's a good call.
When I was
very funny.
talking about being, people shouting my name at a concert and being around in London and, being recognized and that kind of stuff, which is very nice. Lovely. There's a few comments on that. Like Ginger says, I thought I passed you, Forman and Ashley, at that John Party concert, but my daughter was bombing her way through to the merch stand and I had to keep up.
Yeah.
You should have yelled at me anyway.
Can't always stop. Yeah, Foreman. If you yell at Foreman, he'll yell back.
Yeah,
you
Ann
will.
says, I saw Rachel out and talked to her. Such a nice person.
Oh, thank you. Well, it was lovely to meet
You
you.
were on your best behavior, I guess.
I usually am when I'm in public. Yeah,
Mhm.
not
Yeah,
singing.
Rob says, I yelled at Forman on Thursday, and Rob's last name is Murphy, and king of the buses, wouldn't you know?
Rob yelling at Foreman on a Thursday is just a regular Thursday.
Exactly. It
Like
was
a
great to
regular
see
week.
Rob. So thank
Yeah.
you for yelling at me because I probably wouldn't have noticed otherwise, Rob. So thank you. Did you have any there, Rachel?
Okay, our Spotify Wrapped just came out for everybody and for us because we finally got ours too, Spotify for podcasters. And so Jackie sent us a thing saying it was her Spotify Wrapped and she is a top 3% fan of ours of our podcast. And
Yay,
she says,
Jackie.
I'm laughing at how committed I am to you guys. So thank you, Jackie.
you,
She's more committed than you guys are because I read that last week.
Oh, did you? Yeah, okay. Well, then I love that she's still listening.
Got it again, Jackie. We know
look,
you're
Got
still
it
listening.
again.
Yeah. Look,
Just in case you missed it.
Yeah, in case you think I noticed for him and I didn't. So there you go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't notice either.
On being recognized places, Melissa says, Foreman, I guess you're just too famous and get recognized everywhere. I honestly would probably just walk the other way if I saw you because I always avoid people in public. If I see someone I know in a store, I make a point of going down the opposite aisle just so I don't have to make small talk.
That's a good topic.
that's
I
how
do
I-
that too.
That's
You'd
how
be
I
surprised that I do
That's how I
that.
live my life.
I'm not
Yeah.
surprised that Dave does that.
I do that too, but that's, the
For
the
sure.
yin and the yang of like where,
Yeah.
you know us, but we
Right.
don't necessarily know
we
you.
don't know you.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't even know. I wouldn't notice. And like if you know me, you just have to stop me because I'm tunnel vision. I'm not even trying to be rude. I'm just don't notice. Like
No.
I'm
No.
just oblivious.
I would suggest yell at me anyway.
Yeah. Just
Oh,
yell.
I've
That's
had
the
people
best, yeah.
yell at me all the time. I don't.
Sure.
It doesn't really bother me. I
No.
just tend to. Yeah. Whenever I'm in a store or something like that, I try to. Avoiding is what I do. I like to avoid.
I
Now,
avoid
don't
if I
avoid
see people that I'm like, I don't really need to talk to them if I know them. right?
But
If don't know.
I just avoid people I don't know. I mean, I just generally avoid.
You
I
avoid
just generally
people.
But when
yeah.
when I'm checking out, or if I go through the cash, I I always talk to whoever is looking after me.
That's true.
So
It's true.
it's whatever.
Dave, you were talking about getting a new phone, and
Yes.
Ainsley wrote to us and she said, "Hey, Dave, I have an iPhone 8 with a broken OtterBox case.
Good for
I know
you.
I need a new one, but this one has worked just fine for the last 4 years."
Hang on to it. Whatever
4
you
years
do,
or more, I guess, hasn't
hang
it?
on to that phone.
iPhone 8.
Yeah.
Do you know if your OtterBox case is broken, they will give you a new one. They have a lifetime warranty.
Oh.
And if your OtterBox case breaks or is discolored like mine, and I have a family member that works for OtterBox, and she told me that.
Oh, wow.
But I already knew that if it's broken, you can email them and they will send you a new one. They will send you a new
I've never
case.
in my life heard of anybody that worked for OtterBox. That
Yeah.
sounds
No.
fascinating.
There's not a lot of
Who
them
knew?
in
You
Canada.
don't think about them having employees.
No, you don't. You just think
She's
of them.
actually in the marketing department, so she
Oh,
knows.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
There's somebody named Tiffany who's trying to get us to help her sell her Taylor Swift tickets for Toronto, and the cost for doing advertising is about $75 an episode. So we'd want to make money off it if you're going to make money off of
No
it.
Yeah,
kidding.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And have you guys heard that Jackie is a top 3% listener of ours?
I hadn't heard that. By the way, check out the family in
I hate you,
Illinois.
Forman.
The family in Illinois, in Nashville, Illinois, which I didn't know existed.
Nashville, Illinois?
Nashville, Illinois. That's got to be a bit of a pain in the ass for them, don't you think? Anyway.
Well, we
there's-
live in London,
Yeah,
Ontario.
We
so-
kind of know about that. Nashville, Illinois, there is a house where they decorate for Christmas. They go over the top, and they have a Taylor Swift themed Christmas decoration this year.
Oh, good one.
Just look it up. Just Google it. You can watch. It's amazing.
Cool.
And she's gonna. She pays attention to that stuff, so they're gonna do. They'll
Yeah,
be fine.
she does.
They're gonna be fine. They're gonna
Yeah.
Be fine.
Well, I wanted to mention then one more hardcore listener is Jamie, who we mentioned the other day, which was who just listened to the entire podcast.
All right.
And so we asked, how long would that take? Jamie says, to answer your question, it took me 3 days to binge the whole podcast.
3 days.
3 days.
Wow.
Worst
That's
3
actually
days
amazing.
ever.
We should go back to that word.
Worst 3 days ever.
We should go back to that word vomit, I think.
Vomit. Are you sick of us yet? Vomit.
The way The Exorcist does.